Hello, people. So, because of the blessing of God through Moses, we've received objective reasoning, the knowledge of good and evil, right and wrong, and what to do and what not to do. And that's led to us as humans having this kind of common sense of the moral law, the Ten Commandments. I'm sure most of you know the Ten Commandments. If not, it doesn't hurt to look it up. So I'm going to try to play on common sense here, and we'll talk about murder to start with. So Moses said, "Do not murder." Some translations say, "Do not kill," but I think there's a little bit of a difference between kill and murder. You be the judge of that. You can even look up the definitions and stuff. So say you have two 10-year-old boys, and okay, let me just start with so I think a lot of the sin happens because of our lack of communication, especially from a young age, not having the words, not having the right, things to say, or establishing communication. So with the murder, say you have two 10-year-old boys, and Jesus said, if you're angry in your heart, or if you're angry with your brother for no reason, you've already committed murder in your heart. So two 10-year-old boys, they start disputing, and then it turns into a fist fight, and they're angry with each other, and they're trying to connect with each other, and the only way they really know how is through asserting their dominance, because that anger, that wrath is an addictive thing that feels good. It seems right to a man when he doesn't have the words, but in the way it leads to destruction. And you get your hands are pumping with blood, and you have this sense of strength, and there's this and it can burn you out. It can make you exhausted. It can, but it's like a drug. And so they start fighting, and no one's around to punish them or to tell them or give them the words. Say they don't have Christ, and they don't have a just father. And about 4 years down the line, it's going to just keep on going. Maybe they'll have good spells, but when it comes down to it and they're trying to get their point across, it only leads to fight. And they're going to eventually lead to survival. It's going to be dog eat dog, kill or be killed, and it will end possibly in murder. So the same way with sexual immorality. If a father has a daughter, and she's 13, coming into puberty, and some dude comes around and starts eyeballing her, and even touches her inappropriately, there's got to be a judgment. There's got to be a righteousness established, or else she's going to go into a wrong mindset, think that's the way that it's supposed to be, and start getting addicted to the feeling and the sense, and try to make connections, and eventually it'll lead to so many wrong decisions, and possibly STDs, and the sin will lead to death and broken hearts, and destroyed marriages, and everything that is good will be wrecked. A thief, so say a father has a son who's 14, and if you do all your chores for the next 2 years, you work hard, and you will be rewarded with a car. And once he gets the car, someone comes along and steals it. Now, that's not fair. and that could lead to wrath and murder, and like it could just open up a whole door of evil in a man's life, especially if he's unforgiving or justice isn't served. And it all calls for a just father who's going to step in and say, enough is enough. You're going to have your righteousness. You're going to be filled with righteousness. And so there's the prophecy of judgment. And, we hear about heaven and hell. That's the prophecy of the judgment to come and the reward. And if there was no establishment of justice and righteousness and order, there's no room for love. Love can't live without justice and righteousness and established order. So our Father is a just Father. He's also a merciful Father. And He sent His Son to make payment on our behalf so that we're no longer condemned. We're no longer torn down. Condemnation, that's a work of the devil. I'd say, if someone comes preaching like you're going to hell and there's no helping you, like that person is going to be like, you know what, fine, I'm just going to do whatever I want, and it's going to lead to more problems. But justification is on Christ's behalf. No other man was righteous and just and to take the sin, but he took the punishment in our place and gave us forgiveness and mercy. So He is our justice. When we go to the throne of judgment in the eyes of the Father, there's nothing we can say, I did steal your son's car, but I've been working hard. I helped an old lady across the street, so it's fine. I did what I was supposed to. That's not a payment. And so your works don't justify you in the eyes of a righteous God. It's the mercy of God. And when you come to the judgment throne, your only hope is to say, Lord, I know I've sinned, and I am not just, I am not righteous, but through Christ I have been justified. It is by His payment that my debt has been paid, and I receive Him, and I receive you, and I'm willing to change. There's a transformation of heart, and that happens. God can see that. God can see when you're just trying to bullshit Him. And He can see when you're sincere, when you're brokenhearted. In the book of Matthew, it testifies of Jesus giving the blessings for those who are repentant and who have come out of sin on either side. And He says, "Blessed are the poor in spirit, for theirs is the kingdom of heaven. Blessed are those who mourn, for they will be comforted." This is in Matthew 5. "Blessed are the meek, for they will inherit the earth." Now, meekness is not speaking out above others, not trying to, assert your authority. It's having power that's under control. For they will inherit the earth. Blessed are those who hunger and thirst for righteousness, for they will be filled. Blessed are the merciful, for they will be shown mercy. Blessed are the pure in heart, for they will see God. There's no distractions in a pure heart that lead you to look at something else other than God. When you come to a purity of heart, your eye is single and you're focused on God, and you can see His love. Blessed are the peacemakers, for they will be called sons of God. A son comes forth from God. And to be of God is to be of his nature, and that's peace. He's a peacemaker. Blessed are those who are persecuted because of righteousness, for theirs is the kingdom of heaven. Blessed are you when people insult you, persecute you, and falsely say all kinds of evil because of me, because of Christ. Rejoice and be glad, because great is your reward in heaven. For in the same way they persecuted the prophets who were before you.